I am sure we have a lot of people who want to ask questions, make their comments. I can't wait to get to it. I know hopefully Macri will be back soon enough. He'll get to a bunch of the questions.
Benji, I apologize. Benji, that was such a beautiful post-game monologue. I appreciate that. So cordial, so well done with the X's and O's. But can we take just 10 seconds and laugh at those front-running losers from Indiana, okay? I'm going to say this because John's not here and we got to respect the opponent. Well, you know how we respect the opponent? We respond to a Mother's Day massacre with a random Tuesday massacre. How's that? Breaking news, Isaiah Hartenstein just got another offensive rebound. Tyrese Halliburton, my goodness, you are a loser. Up by 20. They can't guard me. But guess what? You can't guard anybody, Tyrese. And the Knicks showed all of national television that exactly. Breaking news, Isaiah Hartenstein just got another offensive rebound. This broadcast. Oh, the Chandler Parsons. Oh my gosh, this is why people don't want to play for Tibs. That's why. Chandler, you didn't want to play for anybody. You were the ultimate stealer of money. My goodness, man. Draymond Green, it's a fluke. Listen, I know you probably had a comfy seat on Steph Curry's coattails, but my goodness, know where your bread is buttered.
What about his comfy seat on Inside the NBA?
Exactly.
Looks very comfy over there.
It looks very comfy in his soon-to-be post-career, where he's going to get to talk about all his rings that Steph Curry gave him. Breaking news! Isaiah Hartenstein just got another offensive rebound. And there's one shout-out that I may have missed, but I may have been getting ready for this. Madison Square Garden. The greatest arena in all of professional sports. You came to play tonight. You understood the assignment. This garden needed you. This team needed you. MSG, Knicks fans, you were needed tonight, and you were outstanding. So bravo to Knicks fans for knowing exactly what to do. And Dickie Carlisle, you could cut all these plays up if you'd like to, and send them to the league so that way they can look at how bad your basketball team is.
Oh man,
okay.
I swear, if I see Indiana Pacers Twitter accounts, analysts who cover the team, if I see a referee mention, I will lose it.
Jalen Brunson shot five free throws tonight. Scored 44 points on 5 free throw attempts.
You know I've been feistier than usual this series with this stuff. I've been very feisty for me. The amount of whining, and Nesmith has been better than the other defenders. Nesmith was allowed to be extremely physical tonight. There were certain plays where I was shocked they didn't call a foul on a grab or a hold or a bump, and it didn't make one freaking crap of difference.
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
Oh, by the way, breaking news. Isaiah Hartenstein just got another offensive rebound. You losers. We went small ball and still out-rebounded you on the glass 20-5 on the offensive end. They not like us, Benji.
The total
I looked up in the second quarter. The Knicks had 23 rebounds and the Pacers had 7. We had more offensive rebounds than their entire team did.
53-29 on the board.
Get them up out of here. They not like us, okay? And by the way, we're gonna make this a full celebration. What up, Kev? How you doing? What up, producer Kevin on the ones and twos tonight? And shout out to cab drivers in New York City. Jonathan Macri is here, ladies and gentlemen. John, before I go, breaking news. This just came out from NBA.com. Isaiah Hartenstein just got another offensive rebound. The only thing that would have made this sweeter is if Reggie Miller got to watch another Pacer loss. Send him to Game 6, ESPN. I know he doesn't work for you, but there's not going to be a TNT NBA anymore pretty soon. So he's going to be a free agent. Hire him now just so he can go to Game 6 and watch the elimination. They not like us, baby.
Andrew, you don't want to read the KOC tweet?
He deleted the tweet.
Oh, did he?
Did he actually delete it?
I don't know if he wants anybody to read the KOC tweet.
Well,
John!
So, hi,
Believe
guys. Benji, as soon as I walked in, first thing my wife said to me was, Benji is killing the postgame.
Oh, that's nice. At least I could do.
However, I'm going to be honest with you. I did not watch you on the cab ride home because I wanted to come in fresh with. I didn't want your thoughts to impact my impressions of the game. That's number one. Number two, did you do any of the segments yet or no?
No segments.
So we'll do the segments together. I'm not going to give. I'm going to save my larger thoughts about the game for when we get to the chats because I know people have been incredibly patient. A couple of things before we start though. One, why does Andrew Claudio always put me in these positions where I want to come in and be the crazy, like, let's get excited, let's be all about this team, and he's out here calling a team a bunch of losers when we still have to win a game against.
Say it with me, John. That loser, Tyrese Halliburton. You can't spell Halliburton without a gigantic L 3 letters in.
There you go. Still got to win one more game against this team.
Boring.
I know. Still got to win one more game against this team. It's not going to be easy in Indiana. Although I think they will put up a far better fight than either the Pacers did tonight or the Knicks did in game 4.
John, can I ask you one question?
Yes.
Ask you one question because this is something I couldn't speak to. Just before you get into all of it, what was it like in the Garden tonight? That's what I want to know.
So here's the best part is when you see narratives getting eviscerated before your eyes, and you know you are watching narratives get eviscerated before your eyes with 19,000 other people who are as cognizant as you are over the fact that narratives which were dumb to begin with and were made to look, I mean, like, could we get like a line of people like holding up like an I'm sorry sign, or like, you know me, I'm not big on the whole apologies, but like it seemed like for a few days there, people were trying to scheme a way to get Rick Carlisle a retroactive Coach of the Year trophy for making this brilliant, just utterly brilliant. And I agree with you, by the way, like Nesmith is the best defender, has been the best defender on him in the series, but like what pool are we choosing from here? So to see that go up in smoke, and then it's like, man, and I've said it a few different times, a few different ways. Andrew Nembhard doesn't hit a 31-foot shot. The whole conversation over the last however many days is so different. And yet, because that shot goes in and they lose that game, and then they come out and they look like they did on Mother's Day, all of a sudden, everything the Knicks are doing is broken. Because no, you can't push your guys past a certain amount, and like we have to play more bad players, more minutes, and so on and so forth, and all of these people. And it's so funny, man. The people that come out of the woodwork, there's certain guys in the NBA, and yeah, I'm gonna vamp for give me 20 seconds here. There's certain figures in the NBA that when things are going good for them, there will be the people that will begrudgingly say the nice things because they know they don't have an out. They know they can't say anything other than the nice things. But the second they get an opportunity to jump in and shovel some dirt on that person, they will grab 2 shovels. They'll try to grab 4 shovels. They'll try to grab 2 shovels with their feet. And Tom Thibodeau is one of those guys. And you know it, and I know it, and it's part of why I fight the fight that I do for him. To have all that nonsense go away because his team came out tonight like they were shot out of a fucking cannon, in part because, as you discussed, I'm sure already, and as you tweeted throughout the game, the coaching adjustment that was made to insert Deuce McBride out of this in the starting lineup. And by the way, I want to commend you on your thread before tip-off about all the ways that it could still work perfectly fine with Precious Achiuwa at the 4. And by the way, we saw a lot of that tonight. Like, they employed a lot of the stuff. Again, I'm sure you discussed it, but I thought it was the right move. It was a risky move. And as I said on the podcast, and now I'm going to get to, maybe we could get, this is how we get to player of the game. I said on the pod with Jeremy, and I texted Andrew. I'm like, and I never text Andrew this. I'm like, do me a favor, go clip where I was talking with Jeremy about like they got to come out and rebound tonight, because I will rarely take a victory lap, but I'm like, if you go small, if you play deuce, this team has to come out and rebound like their freaking paychecks and livelihood depends on it. And I don't know if the rebounding was more impressive, because here's the thing: the rebounding was like all focused on one player who I have not mentioned his name yet on purpose because I want to save it. I don't know if that was more impressive or it was just the general defensive intensity. And this is where I'm going to give you credit, man. You tweeted it before the game and you said, I don't know how. I don't know if it's an adjustment. I don't know if it's just the old play better adjustment. I forget what exactly you tweet, but you know the one I'm talking about, where you're like, they have to make Tyrese Halliburton uncomfortable, and they just have to make the Indiana Pacers uncomfortable. And there were a few moments in this game tonight where the Pacers kind of started to feel themselves, and then they would just, by hook or by crook, put a stop to it every freaking time. And if that is not the mark of a great team, I just don't know what is. And so to answer your question, Benji, it was fucking incredible to be in the Garden for that and to see that firsthand. It was a and you know what I love most, because there was 19,000 people there. I felt like so many of them were like me, where it wasn't until they went up 24 in the fourth quarter with like 3.5 minutes to go, we're like, okay, we can breathe now. It's fine. But that's all I have to say about that.
What was the loudest moment?
Might have been the Dante putback, and then the subsequent, and then the subsequent events, after that. Hart following his own miss was pretty good. Brunson putting Nesmith on his ass was pretty good. Yeah, I would put those all up there. And also there was some here's what I wrote in my phone, because I'm trying to take notes as best I could. I wrote, holy shit sequence, which led up to 65-47 at the end of the first half. There were how many of those sequences where it was a make followed by a defensive play, followed by another make. And then, oh my God, I haven't even mentioned there's half a dozen candidates for play of the game. So Burks' three, when it got down to 12, the corner three, and credit New York Basketball's Twitter account tweeted that out shortly after he made that.
And that was after the 3 Turner threes, right? And then maybe a couple other plays. I don't know if it was right after, but maybe a couple other plays in between. And then Burks makes a massive 3 out of kind of a nothing possession, gets kicked to him, and he just drills a corner 3.
It was a nothing possession. But then the only other thing I'll say, like, because they needed to get the cushion to begin with, and the deuce 3 followed immediately by the Brunson 3 to put them up. Did that put them up 19 or 16? That was in the middle of the third quarter, because I think that was the first moment where everybody was like, "Holy shit, we got this tonight."
Yep.
You know, it's just so many amazing plays. You can't say enough about him, man.
Is it? I said it, the biggest playoff performance from the Knicks since 1999.
It's funny because I saw Carlisle, the tweet afterwards, say like his team, like I forget what but he used the word embarrassed, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I thought I watched the Pacer team come out like they tried, I thought the effort was there. I thought they were doing what. I mean, you tell me, you're better at this stuff than I am, but like, I didn't feel like I was watching a team that deserved the old embarrassment label. I thought the Knicks did what the Knicks did to them more than the Pacers. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think Carlisle is probably looking at what happened on the boards.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Like that can't happen, especially because you've shown the ability to at least hold it fairly even, if not even out rebound the Knicks at times.
You out rebounded by 9 in the last game.
I called it the dirty little secret of the series, is that Indiana was right there with New York on the boards throughout the series and even beat them at times. And the fact that you just got pummeled with the Knicks going small and you got pummeled, I think there should be some embarrassment to that. Isaiah Hartenstein felt that embarrassment after game 4. And he said it.
Could we start our segments? Because I've been holding it in.
Okay, so you want to start segments. I
Yeah.
thought you'd be much longer. So there's an order to things, John, unfortunately.
Oh, excuse me.
So before we get to the player of the game and all
Yes.
other segments, a quick word from our friends over at Foreplay. You know, John, Benji, the other day, John was talking to two girls who were telling him how into foreplay they were and how they wished that they had more single guys to do it with. Whoa, Benji. That's FOURPLAY. We're not trying to get anybody teed up on the pod. Okay. It's an app where single friends team up and double date other single friends. It's more fun, lower pressure, and a safer way to meet new people, which is exactly why single girls love it. John, would you like to tell us more?
I just want to know why you're taking my job.
I'm not. I thought you weren't going to be here, and I was planning to do that this entire time. So go ahead.
Yes. Look, we know everything's better with a friend. Just ask Josh and Jalen. Even if Brunson won't admit it. And with Foreplay, you don't have to sacrifice bromance for romance because it's a chance to enjoy a night out with a buddy while meeting two new people in a more social environment without any expectations. And the icing on the cake, it's free. All right, it's game time. So head over to the App Store now and download Foreplay, FOURPLAY, and get ready for a little 2-on-2 pickup. Nobody got teed up there, Benji, did they?
You two are solving the shidduch crisis one play at a time. I don't know if you understand that joke, but just let it go.
I do.
We have a live comment from someone watching.
Let's go.
By the way, happily married men here on the pod. Okay, you guys do the rest.
He just got teed up on the pod.
Yes, he did.
I think my wife just teed me up from upstairs. I might need to be sent to the locker room known as the couch in the basement tonight. I don't know. We'll see. That's fantastic. Oh, I love my wife so much. But you know, those two girls, man, we just can't keep talking to them.
Stop. Player of the game.
The next segment is the autograph player of the game presented by our friends at Autograph. Download the Autograph app and use code KFS when you do and get rewarded for your Knicks fandom. Pick something. Pick John's newsletter. Pick one of Benji's breakdowns on a thread. Pick a post-game pod or a regular pod or a pregame pod or a KFS X's and O's. Whatever you do, do it through the Autograph app. Earn coins and then earn big prizes. Shout out to our friends at Autograph.
So, Benji, can we pick two different players for this?
Please.
So there's a lot of heroes for tonight, and I'm looking forward to talking about them throughout when I get to the super chats. But there was one player who I'm sure you saw it. I retweeted it. I'm sure it's going around the internet. Who is doing things in the postseason that let me see some of the other names here. I don't know if you've ever heard of these guys. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, Bernard King, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal. Are those decent players? Decent players. So there's that guy doing stuff that only those guys have done. And then there's the guy who I want to give the autograph player of the game to. And when you asked me before what it was like to be in the Garden, the thing I was saving, and I was saving for it for right now, is to witness Isaiah Hartenstein do that in person. Was frankly one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen in my life. He, like, not since King Kong, stomped all over Manhattan Island, in 1933, was there a performance of utter dominance by a big man. It was, the Pacers were like, it's like they weren't even there. They were there. I saw them. There were 5 uniforms on the court at any given time. But what Isaiah Hartenstein did to them tonight was like, and here's the other part. Where did he end up with 17 or 18 rebounds? There were another, I lost count. It should have been over 20 rebounds because how many times did a Pacer get called for a foul because they had to foul him to prevent him from getting a rebound?
Yep.
So
in the intro, 100%.
by all rights, it should have been a 20 rebound performance.
7
I've
and
never
13 minutes in the first half. He had 7 and 13 minutes.
I've never seen anything like that in person. And like, it's like chicks dig the long ball. Like, yeah, we all love scoring. Everybody loves scoring because everybody scores in the NBA today because it's the best offensive era since Wilt was put up 50 a game. Not to diminish what Jalen Brunson is doing. Jalen Brunson's incredible. But what Isaiah Hartenstein brings to the table, man, just the level of physicality on both ends all night long, defensive and offensive boards. I don't know that I could properly describe what it was like to witness that.
Would have been my pick, but I will go with the second pick, and it's not going to be Jalen Brunson because I'll tell you what.
Wow.
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I mean, I've already had the opportunity to wax poetic about a bunch of these guys.
Okay.
But do I think that Jalen Brunson having 44 on 35 shots is like the best Jalen Brunson game? No. He missed some shots that I actually kind of expect him to make, a bunch of floaters on Nesmith around the paint.
Kind of cold in the second half, right?
Yeah.
Cold-ish, right?
Yeah, the defense actually carried them for a stretch there where neither team could score for a while, which was fine if you're up by 18, 20 points, but that's kind of how it felt.
Absolutely. 100%.
And look, he's obviously he's the engine, and like there's no offense without him. We saw that in game 4. But in terms of like a performance that blew me away, like beyond my expectations, because Jalen Brunson, it's crazy, but I expect that. I expect what he did when he's healthy.
Yep.
The answer to me is Deuce McBride.
Oh my God.
The answer to me is Deuce McBride because, I mean, again, I don't want to repeat what I already said about him. So I'm going to like take a slightly different angle.
Sure.
Which is it's not just like it's the fact that presumably the main reason they made this switch was to create some space on the offensive end. Like that was the main idea. But the idea that he made such an immense impact on both ends, like changed the game on both ends of the floor. That is so hard to do for a bench player like that coming into a starting lineup. He changed the defense by denying Halliburton full court, pressuring him constantly. It's a better matchup for him than freaking TJ McConnell. Thank God I didn't have to see much on TJ McConnell tonight. He really took Halliburton out of his game and took the Pacers, therefore, out of their offense. He gets a ton of credit for that. And then on the offense, I just expected him to give more spacing by standing in the corner. He was the main action. It was him screening for Brunson throughout the game, spammed over and over and over again that Tyrese Halliburton could not guard. They will not switch it. And they cannot navigate it quickly enough when you have a shooter of Deuce's caliber and a player of Jalen's caliber combined. Like, I couldn't believe that he entered the starting lineup and became the focal point of the Knicks' actions.
I did
not expect.
Can you remember another time where they've done that many guard-to-guard screens in a game?
I would be surprised if it's ever been this much. They certainly spammed it at times against Miami. They do it against every team in the playoffs. Like Brunson will search out a matchup, but this relentlessly on a single guy, I think that might have been the most I've seen and the most consistently I've seen it. And I thought at some point they were gonna tap out and put him on Josh Hart and like ask it because at least Hart's not gonna pull a 3 off of it, so it creates a little less pressure. Now we've seen Josh Hart do a bunch of other things off of that catch. If you can hit him the slip and he gets downhill, all things that Josh Hart can do.
Absolutely.
But the added pressure of Deuce catching and shooting a 3, which he did twice in this game, he made a 3 off of that trap. That is such crazy pressure on a defense when you will not switch it. And they would not switch it, and they'd never switched Halliburton's matchup. And so it just became the action of the game. And I just never expected that. Like, I understood the switch. I wasn't like, again, I gave credit to Mensa and XJ who were like, this is the move 100%. And they were right. I was a little more hesitant on it. I thought there were trade-offs. The way Deuce has been playing, I was like, I mean, the guy just knocked it out of the park in every which way. I could not be more impressed with the way this guy, this 36 pick, getting paid $3 million a year, just changed the series and gave the Knicks a chance to win one game to get to an Eastern Conference Finals. That is crazy.
It sounds a little crazy to say it, but when you consider Julius, when you consider Mitch, when you consider OG, he is at best, if they're fully healthy, which I know is like a concept that's like comical at this point, but like in a theoretically fully healthy version of this team, he is there. Is he their eighth man? Right?
Well, Hart's on the bench.
Hart's on the bench, and Mitch
on
is
the
on
bench.
the bench. I mean,
Bogdanovich.
I mean, he's like you would think maybe eighth or ninth. How many teams in the NBA have an eighth or ninth man that is coming in and changing the complete and total complexion of the series? That's a testament. I mean, it's a testament to Deuce. It's a testament to, I know it seemed like obvious move to a lot of people, but testament to the coach for doing it.
Yes.
And most of all, to the front office for getting this guy and locking him up. And I mean, it's just.
And they don't win the Philly series without him. He was great that whole series.
One game, one assist.
I mean, if there's something to be embarrassed about, if you're Philly and if you're Indiana, it's that this is a shell of the team that you should be playing.
Oh my God.
And that's like besides the point. Now, again, Indiana has 2 games to win the series. I'm not going to talk about being embarrassed in the series yet. I'm just saying if they lose it and you want to talk to some embarrassment, that's where it exists. And to the Knicks' credit, the depth, the personnel moves that they made have put them in a position where with the amount of injuries and the degree of injuries they've had, they're still chugging along here in a playoff run. It's remarkable. To
say nothing of the guy who would be the 10th man, or I guess 11th, depending. Well, to say nothing of the 10th/11th men on this fully healthy Knicks team, who both came in tonight and played absolutely phenomenal. We can look. I could sit here all night talking poetic. I'll save some of this for the super chats. Andrew, when are we letting Benji go?
So we're letting him go in a minute. I'm just going to add another candidate. We have a poll running in the KFS live chat at the moment. Who is the autograph player of the game not named Jalen Brunson, as well as our code for autograph if you'd like to sign up using code KFS. Alec Burks, Isaiah Hartenstein, Deuce McBride. I'll just add a third candidate because you called Deuce McBride a 9th man. Alec Burks, to me, hit the biggest shot of the game. That 3 you mentioned when they were up 12. And it looked like the tide might be turning. We may be getting some momentum. I think if Indiana gets this thing under 10, it gets a little tight in the shorts. And Alec Burks 5 threes tonight on a night DiVincenzo went 0 for 6 from 3. He was huge. And look, we were making this point on the playback tonight. If you're telling me that they swapped out Mitch and Bogdanovich for Achua and Burks, I'm not 100% sure the trade-off is that significant a drop-off. And you add not getting ahead of myself. John, I promise I'm not getting ahead of myself. Let's say they get an OG Anunoby back for a future playoff series. Now suddenly you're back to 8 guys.
Yep. Yep.
It's actually a very big development that Alec Burks is a playable basketball player again.
I just want to, I know we're all over the place. I have to shout out, if we're talking about biggest shots, biggest moments, biggest swing moments of the game. It was early after the Pacers got out to the 9-1 start of the third quarter with the 3 Turner threes, and things got real dicey real fast. Donte DiVincenzo made a defensive play. I forget what the hell it was, but it was with 9:21 left in the third quarter. And then he fouled that up on the immediate next possession with I think it was a floater. And it put them up. It went from a 7-point lead to a 9-point lead. It was a little thing. I'm pretty sure the Pacers even came back and maybe scored a field or maybe got a free throw in the next one. And then, of course, the Knicks came back. And guess what happened? Isaiah Hartenstein offensive rebound that led to points. But like that 2-way sequence from Donte there. Like I know Donte didn't have a great stats game, and like you probably put him like lowest out of all of the guys in terms of the effectiveness of the game. Man, and again, that's, you want to talk Tom Thibodeau, man, you don't got to shoot well to play well. Is there a better example of you don't got to shoot well to play well game than what Donte DiVincenzo offered them tonight?
100%. I mean, and I'll say one more thing about Burks too, because the threes he made huge, and you made the point about Bogdanovich. And something I talked about also before this game was take a little bit of pressure off of Brunson handling the basketball.
Yes.
And you saw Deuce bring it up a bunch of times. You saw Hart bring it up a bunch of times. And you saw Alec Burks bring it up a bunch of times. What Burks gives you is another ball handler. Now, he's not the surest-handed ball handler ever, and you don't want him running a ton of pick and rolls. We know point guard Burks is a scary, scary thing. But just that extra ball handler to take a little pressure off, bring the ball up at times, run a second side pick and roll, get to his floater game, draw fouls. We saw that tonight too. Like, how huge is that? And like, it's a reminder, like, oh, this is why they wanted this guy back, because he can do a bunch of these things that really help this team that doesn't have a backup point guard, that needs a little ball handling, that is asking Jalen Brunson to do absolutely everything. And just like, man, how big is it to have him just adding that element as well? I wanted to shout that out.
And this will lead me to the last thing I want to just throw at you before I let you go. I thought, I mean, Alec Burks was playing in Alec Burks' world to a comical degree for the better part of 3 months. So it's like we had nowhere to go but up. But I thought he, along with everybody else, I mean, how many times did they just make the next pass, make the next pass, make the next pass, kick, move, relocate, like screen, everything. And the connectivity that they had, I don't know who was better, the connectivity that they had on the offensive end or the connectivity that they had on the defensive end tonight. That to me, in terms of the team-wide story, that's like, I can't say how many. There were at least 4 times today where I said to the person next to me, I was like, "Did you see Alec Burks was there with the switch on time?" You know, and it was maybe it's because I was surprised to see him doing it because he's right, but he was always there, and that was across the board. Everybody was there on time.
No, you nailed it. Something I spoke about also in the opening was as much as he made some shots and made some offensive plays in games 3 and 4. Definitely didn't feel like he was up to the task and the pace defensively yet. And that's fair because he hasn't played. And like, you're throwing him into not only a playoff game, but a playoff game against the fastest paced team, the team that puts you in the blender more than any other team in the league.
Yep.
They are a tremendous ball movement team. And tonight I felt like he grew into the series a bit. To your point, was on time on switches, actually guarded the ball, rebounded. I don't know how many he ended up with, maybe 4. But some rebounds.
Yeah.
He was 5.
There you go. He had 5 boards. I mean, he just contributed across the board. Like, Alec Burks is back. Your favorite Hooper's favorite Hooper.
We were noting too on the playback, Benji, like legitimately good help defense throughout the night too.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
He was in it.
I think we're at an hour, so thank you, Benji, as always, for your outstanding job on the monologue. I loved it, and I appreciate you entertaining my nonsense as well when it arrived. We haven't even mentioned the actual reason the Knicks won tonight, and it's not just Tom Thibodeau, but it's that this photo now exists in our lives. We need to pay tribute. Shout out to John, who ghost wrote an article under the pseudonym Tim Cowan for ESPN.
By the way, I had never heard of that guy. Have you guys heard of that guy?
No, it's John. That's why.
I hadn't, and I just have to say, if anybody's here watching this, listening to this on the podcast feed tomorrow, if you love Tibs, if you hate Tibs, if you're just like whatever, if you're a basketball fan, if you're someone who just likes reading good writing, go read this piece. Frankly, it's the best thing I could remember reading in a long time. So it's his piece on Tom Thibodeau. That's on ESPN.com. Not that they need our support, but go read the piece.
Of course, it's the best thing you've read in a long time. You wrote it, so
it's
credit where credit is due, man. I loved it. I enjoyed it, man.
Okay.
Should your birthday just happened, and like I could just order the frame if you'd like to make that the new background. Like, get rid of the MSG picture behind you and just have that be your background.
If you want to put those wheels in motion and have that be
so
behind
serious, I will get that framed, and I'll drive it to Brooklyn tomorrow.
Can it be the background only during foreplay ads?
Yes, exactly. We got to teach you how to make it like your Zoom background, except this is StreamYard.Zoom, and just have it like behind you while you're reading foreplay ads.
That's great. We'll work on that. Okay.